Welcome, everyone, to Is This Love? So weird, because is it the Is This Love podcast, or is it just Is This Love podcast? Well, either way, Whitesnake knows what you're talking about. This is the podcast where we navigate and discuss the weird and wonderful world of love and relationships with myself, Francis, a.k.a. the other guy. I'm pointing at myself. And I'm going to point at Sara, Nade, right over there. Even though she can't see it, I'm pointing right at her. Hi, Sara. How's it going?
Hi.
I don't know.
I'm good, Francis. How are you?
I'm doing well. Have a good weekend this weekend?
I did. It was very warm. How was yours?
It was good. You know, I was having a conversation. I got to hang out with a bunch of people this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Got to play poker for the first time, like for real. And it was surprisingly fun and surprisingly challenging and very harrowing. It was a really cool experience. Can't wait to do it again. Mm-hmm. But it's funny that you bring up the weather thing, because what do you think of conversations about weather? I know this is nothing to do with relationships, but I'm curious. What do you think it's like? Because to me, I always find it like if people don't have anything to talk about in general, people often just go straight for weather, which is not a bad thing. But I do find it funny that's that's a common thing that anyone and everyone can talk about. But what are your thoughts on weather? Is that like a fun topic to talk about, or is it something that you just like, oh, I know I can talk about this out of curiosity?
Yeah, I guess I just realized now that all I said about my weekend was that it was warm.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. It's fine. Yeah.
I just now realized that. I don't know. I mean, people talk about weather here a lot because it rains, and people get depressed when it rains.
Yeah.
And then they want to talk about how much it rained.
Yeah. And
how they're feeling about it. And then when it's nice, everyone's really excited. Like, really excited. So our emotions here are very closely tied to the weather.
Yeah.
And it does affect a lot about what happens in our life. Like,
That's
this weekend, I spent almost the whole days outside in the shade because we have zero sun protection built into our bodies up here. So we all need to be in the shade all the time.
Well, just to protect kayfabe, you know, Sarah's in the Pacific Northwest, and it is, you know, my understanding, gloomy most of the year anyway.
It is gloomy most of the year. And like, even my friends who like could sunbathe and all sorts of stuff wherever they came from, they come here, and after a while they're like, I need to be in the shade too. Like, even if they have like great tans or anything, like, you know, I feel like you just can't handle the sun after you're here for a while. It does not matter your complexion at all. So
yeah, no, I'm with you. I you know, I always find it funny to talk about weather because I'm like, yeah, well, but the difference is I'm in Southern California where it's always pretty much the same temperature. The temperature is either 70 or 90. That's it. That's it. There's very little variation between those two temperatures. And so for me, talking about the weather is like, okay, well, there's not much we can say here at least. Right. But I think other parts of the world it makes more sense. And that's because we don't have seasons. You have seasons.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. Like, it's a big deal when the weather changes, and it's a big topic of discussion when it's been the same for a long time because everyone's starting to really get sick of it. But yeah, I think if it's always the same, it's not really an interesting topic.
And I can already see the episode show art now. One cloud over one heart, a sun over the other heart. This, no matter what we talk about tonight, that's all we're gonna as the art and the topic. It'll be, is this love? Weather. Episode 10, what is the weather? But no. Well, here's another question then, since it's just before we get into the actual question segment. Is weather a good icebreaker for dating?
Well, like I said, people love to talk about the weather here, depending on what's going on. So sometimes they do. Like, if you're on a date here and it's like the first nice day of the year, yeah, you're probably going to be talking about it a lot.
It's like, wow.
Let's go to a park. Let's go to the beach. Oh my God, can you believe it's 70 degrees? Oh my gosh. Do you have your sunscreen?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense then. Okay, yeah. I don't know about here. I'm trying to think of whether it is, but again, the friend I spoke with was like, I love talking about the weather. So maybe, maybe for some people, weather is a good conversation kind of, at least starter, icebreaker at the very least.
Well, I mean, I get kind of what you're saying. Like, some people really hate small talk, and weather is definitely usually small talk.
That's
I think
true
in most places. So, I mean, I actually get sick of certain people. I mean, not certain people, but when there's like certain weather talk that like is just like continuing because people are frustrated, and I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. Like it hasn't been that cold, it hasn't been that horrible lately, but everyone's upset about it. So, I mean, it's even too much for me sometimes, but I totally get that some people hate small talk, and weather is kind of...
No, you're right. You solidified my thoughts exactly. I'm like, I'm trying to think of the words, and you said it. Small talk. It's small talk. And small talk just weirds me out for some reason. Because I'll be in random places, in an elevator, or in a room, and somebody just comes up to me and says... That weather, it's sure raining. Well, rain though is different here because it rains so rarely. So when we talk about rain, it's like an event, right? It's raining.
Yeah.
When local news was a thing, the local news would spend the entire hour talking about that it was raining. It's like, oh, the roads are wet. Oh, we don't know how to drive in the rain. Et cetera, et cetera. But anyway. Enough of the small talk. Oh, this small talk.
There's a lot of talk about small talk.
Well, it's important, isn't it?
I'm teasing. It's not small talk. It's not small talk if you're talking about small talk.
That's true.
Then it's intellectual discussion.
Oh, look at Sarah saving the episode here and saving me. She's the hero we need right now. Not all heroes wear capes. Instead, they have cats that walk on their desk every once in a while. All right. Well, we have a jam-packed show for you guys today. Let's get started with. I'm thinking of adding some production value and like doing a jingle before the questions segment.
A jingle?
Yeah, like finding a jingle of some sort, like dun 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 or whatever. Like, I don't know, like a.
Oh.
Like a. Not like getting bells and just shaking. Like, or what did you think? I
thought you meant like the kind with like a commercial where someone's singing like, "Is this love question?"
Oh, yes. All right, hold on. I'm going to to cut that and put an audio bed of some sort behind that.
Just audio tune the hell out of it, please.
I'll auto tune it so that because
auto tune. That's what I meant.
Wow. Well, you now heard the segment's jingle.
Oh God. I so regret that already.
If I can trick you into singing at any point. You sang once when we were doing the brainstorming for the podcast. You sang the intro song, supposedly. Like, we tried to harmonize well too. I don't know if you remember that. We tried to harmonize the intro of saying, "Is this love podcast?" or whatever. Like, we tried to think of something. And we were both just like all over the place. So, but then you sang by yourself, and I'm like, I wish I was recording at that time because I didn't get that. But you did sing the theme, quote unquote, theme by itself.
It was probably very similar to that. That's pretty much the only tune I can come up with.
Maybe, but all I know is that that's amazing, and I'm going to have that as our jingle for the question segment. Yes. All right.
Oh no.
So, you know what? Before we get into the email that we got, let's go with the second question that we had.
Okay, the short guy.
The short guy. Yeah, I want the short guy. I mean,
the short question. I don't know what height the person is, but it's a short question. Okay.
The 5'3" question, right. Please.
The 5'3" question. All right. Which is perfectly lovely height, by the way, for a question.
I think it's a great height. That's one of my favorite heights.
Is it?
Actually, yeah. Anything under 5. Yeah. Well, so other than my ex-wife, all the women I've dated were like under 5'5".
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes, that's a good height. I like that height.
I have very short friends, and they are lovely people. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as a too short question or a too short friend.
Yeah.
All right. My girlfriend loves me, but I don't love her as much as I used to. I care about her, but I have felt for about 2 months now that I just want to break up. I can't figure out why. She's really amazing to me, so why am I suddenly falling out of love with her? Can I make myself love her again?
Ooh, that is...
Yeah.
I bet that's maybe not a... Well, no, I think that's common. I actually think that's common, especially for long relationships.
So? Mm.
Well, for instance, I think that... Well, there's something called 7-year itch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the concept behind the 7-year itch is that every 7 years, you start wanting to look around and find someone else and, move on to another relationship because 7 years is a long time and you've had a lot of time to get to know each other and grow, but maybe you get bored or maybe you get so comfortable with each other and it's like, oh, I'm ready to move on. And so there's a whole movie on it too. I think it's like a Marilyn Monroe movie or something called The 7-Year Itch. But there is this idea that we as individuals, psychologically over time, become different people after a certain number of years. We change personalities a little bit, not completely. It's not like we're completely, totally different people. But parts of ourselves change because we learn new things, we've done new things, we've experienced new things, and we, allow ourselves to absorb that information and those experiences. And we, as we're not the same person as we were 7 years ago. We like different things, we appreciate different things, right? We have different goals and different wants and desires, and that can affect a relationship. Now, what was the longest relationship you've had?
Oh my God, 2.5 years.
Okay, well, 2.5. So kids. Look, Sarah, people have like 6-month relationships, and that's how far they ever go is like 6 months
tops.
or 2 months. Yeah, they're just like, well, I mean,
the 7-week itch.
Oh, wow, yeah. So
I think we're different people now.
Yeah. 7 weeks. Oh my God. I really, that whole 2.5 months,
Yeah.
Oh, too bit
lot
much.
Can change.
Not even 2 months. 7 weeks is even 2 months. Like you even didn't make it to 2-month mark. You couldn't make it 2 months. Yeah. I mean, 2 years, people changed. Well, so 7 years was the original number. And then they, at least as of 2010 or something, they changed it to 3 years. They're saying every 3 years you become a different person. So that kind of makes sense. 2.5 years would kind of make sense that we as people, again, become different. So it's not surprising that this person feels the way they do. Now, how long did they say that?
They did not say.
Okay. So it's we can assume if it's been that for 2 months he's been feeling fairly uncertain and wants to break up. We can, I guess, safely assume at least a year, right? Because it's not like, well, I was with her for 3 months and
the first month was magical.
Oh, but these last 2 months, oh man, I don't know.
2/3 of our relationship has been hell.
In other words, break up. 3 months is a perfectly fine buffer of a relationship to where you can feel comfortable breaking up. But let's say a year is pretty good to start kind of questioning things. Because a year is long enough to get to know someone, but a year is not long enough to feel like you're bored with a person already. So, what do you? Okay, before because I have a lot to say about this. What are your thoughts on this particular question?
Well, I think you're right. I think there's, a short period of time, which means probably the honeymoon phase is just worn off. And, the new relationship energy was mistaken for love. And that's fine. That happens all the time. But yeah, if it's a longer relationship, I would say if you're, and I don't have a lot of experience with like falling out of love with someone and thinking, but I have zero idea why, because they're just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's okay to like think about that for a minute, because it could be something else. You might have just fallen out of love with them. That does happen. But it could also be secondary to something else. Like, if you break up with them and then later you really regret it, and you might look back and be like, I think I was just really stressed at work.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I just couldn't have the same feelings for them at that time that they're having for me. Maybe I felt guilty, felt like I'm feeling an absence of what they're feeling towards me. It must mean I'm not loving them. So little things like, little nuances like that, can shift how you see your feelings towards them, because theirs is different. Theirs feels different than your energy going out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's a lot of different things to just kind of stop and look at your life and say, calmly, is it really that I just don't love them anymore, or what's going on in my life? Because if they are really, really amazing and you are thinking, why don't I love them? I wish I could. Everything about them is great. Then it might, it's probably wise to stop for a minute before just throwing it out the window.
I think what often happens too is that when you're in love with somebody for the first time or during the honeymoon relationship, it's always a high, right? Mm-hmm. There's never that low. And so this could be your first low. And then another month or two down the line, it's back to high again, right? We emotions ebb and flow when it comes to a relationship. Mm-hmm. That's why it's hard. That's why it's work, really. Love isn't easy. Relationships aren't easy. For a lot of people, there's a lot of effort required. And one of the things that I've read and heard is like, look, if you want to keep a relationship interesting, you have to not stop dating. You can't step out of that wanting to be romantic portion where you made effort for one another to try to fall in love, right? Because it's not just like you two were compatible. You guys wanted it to happen, so you did things to make it happen, right? I'm not saying like don't show your flaws and always be like putting your best foot forward and never showing any weakness and stuff like that. That's not what I'm saying. But putting in that effort of like doing a date night, going out and romancing each other, doing things that you both love can rekindle that emotion that you think you're missing right now. And yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, no. It sounds like you were saying something.
Oh, well, I'm totally like agreeing with everything you're saying. I read about a guy who felt like he had fallen out of love with his wife, mm-hmm. and they had 2 kids, and she was pregnant with a third. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, I just don't love her anymore. I don't know what to do. She's going through a troubling pregnancy, and she's wonderful. She's the mother of my children, and she's a great person. I care about her, but I just don't love her anymore. Mm-hmm. And this is a situation where there's like a lot more at stake. So it was way more important for him to like put some effort in and not just say, well, I'm not feeling it anymore, so I think I'll just call it quits, like, I'm not saying that the question asker has like zero stakes, but it sounds like, it's my girlfriend. I'm not hearing anything about kids or owning anything together. It doesn't mean that they don't, but sometimes when like there's a high enough stakes, like you said, you have to put in some effort to like rekindle things or to you can relearn to love your partner. Someone had commented on that guy's story he posted, and they told a story of how they learned to re-love their wife. Mm-hmm. And they said that they were in a very similar situation where they just thought, I don't love her anymore. I think I want a divorce. And then they looked at what she had done for them in his life. Yeah. And he was like, oh my God, I'm going to turn this into a gratitude thing. And all of a sudden I see her in a whole new light. Mm-hmm. And we have been happy ever since I've decided to like put that work in. And like gratitude, it's a big thing.
It is.
And like looking at things in a different light and seeing what you can find that you love about them again. Yeah,
exactly. And it's so normal for life to get ahead of us and kind of overwhelm us sometimes. And mm-hmm. I think we don't recognize that and how that impacts our relationships. We don't get to see how that impacts not just like our familiar or our romantic relationship, but like familial, friendly relationships. It affects everything. Life just does. That's what makes life so interesting, is that life is relentless, right? You wake up one morning and it's like, oh, the house is on fire. Well, hope maybe not that, but like
hopefully you don't wake up to that.
No, maybe not that. But things are just stuff is going on, right, in the world that you may or may not have control over, and it can get stressful and it can bog you down, and it can translate into these changes of emotion and these different things. And look, Sara and I are not saying that, like you said earlier, he may have genuinely fallen out of love. But before you get to that point, it doesn't sound like you've done anything to kind of see if you could go back, right? As a matter of fact, that's what you're asking anyway. It's like, how do I find that purpose and that love again? And we're saying it's possible. Like, we're saying it's definitely possible, something that you can do. It's all about putting that extra, putting in that effort and talking with her about it as well. Don't just say, I don't love you anymore, but be like, honey, I have something to tell you. I don't know how to say this, but I don't love you anymore. Bye.
Could you pass the popcorn? And I don't love you anymore.
Don't mind the hole. Don't ask. Anyway, no, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, Sarah's right? You can't just, you don't want to just casually bring that up in conversation, but you do want to say, hey, look, let's go out. Let's do something different. Let's do something exciting. Let's something spontaneous, or even just let her know, like, oh, we haven't done in a while, or whatever. We should do this again, and do something that was something you guys did in the peak of your romantic relationship feeling honeymoon period, and see how that feels. So being in that familiar environment and being around those types of things can be like, oh, right. You'll start firing those synapses. I'm like, oh, right. This is why I love her, because we like to rock climb in, the mountains, or we like to, I don't know.
Spelunking in the caves.
It's spelunking in caves, right? I like that they're all really hard physical things to do.
You're either going up or you're going down. It's all rocks.
Right, I know. We need to. I was hoping for something simpler, like maybe. See, the funny thing, I can't think of anything simple. What would we do?
Birdwatching. Everyone can enjoy birdwatching. I mean, I guess not if you find it really boring.
Look, gentlemen, if Sarah's ever single, you know what to put in your profile picture, if ever she's in, she'll be like, birdwatching? Why? I just talked about that the other day. He sounds interesting. Let's go find a goldfinch. Yeah, no, let's anything. But really, if you find that thing, I think you can you will never make yourself fall in love, but I think what will end up happening is you will rekindle, which is different from making, because that feels like you're forcing the situation as opposed to like bringing back something that's already there, right? I think, right? Yeah. And then if you do all that work and you still feel the same way, then you know for sure. Then I guess the fire's gone, and unfortunately, it does happen. Sucks. Yeah. Not enough bird watching.
It is like the glue of every relationship.
Episode 10, bird watching, the glue of every relationship. The topics that are going to show up on the weather, bird watching,
going to have nothing to do with the actual question.
Oh my goodness, I'm crying over here. That's so funny. All right. Well, we have another question here from an email from Mr. Anthony Davis, good friend of the show. Let's see what he has to ask or say.
Okay. Anthony says, hello, Francis and Sara. I am writing to you as I am listening to the latest episode of Is This Love podcast on June 24th, 2022.
Yay.
In it, you were...
I just said yay.
Hooray! Thank you for listening. In it, you were talking about a woman who keeps getting hit on by married men. You talked about the friend zone quite a lot before you gave your advice, and as you and Sarah were talking, it got me thinking about my very favorite quote from one of my very favorite movies, When Harry Met Sally. In it, Harry, played by Billy Crystal, is talking to Sally, played by Meg Ryan. And it pretty much says something to the effect of, a guy can never truly be friends with a girl because the sex part gets in the way. Mm-hmm. I've kind of taken this quote to heart in my life, and it's part of why I have some social issues with the opposite sex. It's harder for me to be friends. Okay, now where's Ross and Rachel? Because the sex part does get in the way. I did and still value my Christian values, and it talks about how lust is a corruption and even a sin. I'm not sure if it's a sin, but I do see how it's corrupt, so I do try to respect women. And one of the best ways to respect them is not look at them as a sexual object or to lust after them, which I think that's a pretty respectful and admirable way of looking at social interactions. Let me finish.
Oh, sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
It's hard for me to be friends with any woman because I'm trying my best to not be disrespectful to them by lusting after them and the constant fear of a potential rejection either sexually or platonically. Your friend, Anthony Davis.
Oh, wow. Yeah. First off, lust is a deadly sin. So, yeah, it's a sin.
Is it?
Lust is one of the 7 deadly sins. I think it is. I'm pretty sure.
Is that Catholic?
Huh?
I'm sorry. I don't even want to get into religion because I wouldn't know.
No. I mean, just, it's, you don't have to go into religion. It's in the movie 7 with Brad Pitt.
That's right. It's in the movie 7.
Yeah. And Morgan Freeman.
And I think I told you that I worked at like a tombstone company for a while.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's when I met you. You were working on one. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's right. I was working there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I did like learn a lot about like different religious stuff because people want to put it on their stone stuff. Not the sins.
No.
But like when we were like putting like stuff on stones, people would talk and like explain little religious things here and there. So yeah. You're right. It is lust. I remember hearing that a lot in the banter, you know.
Lust is a deadly sin, gluttony, all that stuff. Yeah, there's 7 of them, and Brad Pitt found all of them. And then I forgot what the last one was, but he didn't.
Wrath, because his wrath was supposed to kill the guy, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah. All I remember is what's in the box. What's in the box?
Yeah. I can't. It's terrible.
And then, no, it's just a goop vaginal stone.
Whoa, what?
Because it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head in the thing or whatever.
Oh, goop.
Goop, yeah.
Wait, what was that second part of that?
Goop vaginal stone.
What is a vaginal stone?
So apparently she sells a stone made of like onyx or whatever, and you put it up there and you use it, you squeeze it to strengthen the muscles, kind of like a Kegel thing, but you're supposed to put it up there, and it's a stone. It's an egg stone, and you just plop inside. And she sells it on Goop.
Thank you.
Look, I'm just saying, it's a Goop. It's you know, it's not. I was always saying it's a not safe for work, but it's on Goop, which I don't think is a not safe for work website. So you can find it on Goop. Her personal. I'm better than everyone, so buy my really expensive, useless products website. Anyway.
Put rocks in your genitals. I know best.
She's crazy. But I love her in the Iron Man and the Marvel movies.
I do. She's a very good actress.
Yeah.
I will not be buying that, though.
No. Yeah.
No.
All right. The first thing I want to bring up, I have a question for you real quick. So, depending on who I talk to, determines on whether or not the friend zone exists. For some people, they're like, no, that's a gimmick that men say because they feel that women, I don't remember what the thing was, but I don't know why, I'm blanking for some reason, but it's a way to guilt women into dating people because it's just like a wait. It's like a line. It's like a queue, right? The friend zone is like a queue. You're waiting to get out of the friend zone so that you can go ahead and sleep with this woman. Like, that's kind of what I think the friend zone is considered. Now, I use the friend zone term a lot when I used to do another show. I used it a lot because it was new, and it was something a lot of guys were talking about, because it only happens to guys apparently, even though some women have claimed. I was going to say some women have claimed that
I have, yeah. I've been friend zoned.
5th grade.
Not 5th grade. College actually was probably the last time it happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So okay. So you at least accept the concept of the friend zone exists, I guess, right? Because again, some women get really upset when I bring up the word friend zone, and I'm like, it's just a thing.
It gets misused.
Yeah.
Some people express it like anytime a girl doesn't want to be more than just friends with them, that she has put them in the friend zone.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think it gets misused. But if you are, I think you put yourself in the friend zone. If you like someone and they don't like you the same way, and you decide to stick around them and accept their friendship only in hopes of something more, you've put yourself in the friend zone. You don't have to stay friends with them.
That's true.
You just don't.
Yeah. No, of course.
That's what I learned. The last time I was in the friend zone, I was like, you know why? I don't need to. I mean, obviously we're not going to be together. I liked him, and I'm hanging around him and doing stuff for him, and happily just acting like friends, even though I know he knows that I like him more than that. And, I just was like, yeah, no, thank you.
How dare you, sir? No one put Sarah in the friend zone.
No one put Sarah in the friend zone.
No one sees it, but we're just showing we're simpatico right now. We got it. Brainwaves in the same length, same brain ring. So anyway, here we go to the main part, though. All right, if a guy can never truly be friends with a girl because the sex part gets in the way. Now, you're using an '80s movie, okay? Mm-hmm. Relationships in the '80s are very different now. That's 30 years of social evolution. Since the 30s, since the 80s. 80s, it was very typical to still smack women in the butt, as they're walking by, or to kind of really, to really objectify women in a way that we don't really do anymore. I mean, we kind of do with models and stuff, but they put themselves in that position, right? That's kind of their point, is they get paid to be the person wearing the bra and the panties or whatever, right?
Well, and that industry's changing too, right. and it's trying to break free of beauty standards,
sure,
the strict ones, anyways.
Yeah, and look, again, I mean, it's why stuff like OnlyFans is successful and things like that, because there are people out there who are still willing to allow themselves to kind of be represented in a certain way. But the vast majority of people out in public, I don't think, and maybe Sarah, you can disagree or agree with me, do not have gone beyond kind of our ideas of men and women of the 80s, right? We've kind of gone past that kind of dichotomy, or whatever word I'm trying to think of. You're the one with all the words today, so I might have to go to you for this one. But
I think that might be right. I think if it's like when you watch these movies from the 80s and you're just like, oh geez, that is dated, because you're just cringing at how inappropriate everything is. I don't know if you saw that movie Working Girl. It was supposed to be about this woman who rises above and takes her power back, and oh my god.
Well, I don't, look, I mean, yeah, I think of movies like Weird Science or Mannequin, where it's well, no, but in the sense of where the whole purpose of the film isn't to, I guess, be the kind of man, where you're worthwhile or whatever. You don't try to become better. Instead, you create the woman you can lust over, and except for Mannequin, which is just weird. But but Weird Science, they literally created the woman that they wanted to be with, right? And it didn't really happen.
That is such a hard movie to watch.
It gave us the Oingo Boingo song "Weird Science" though, so I can't hate it so much.
I mean, I barely remember from when I watched it back in the day, but I watched it recently, and it is difficult to watch.
Yeah, it's I can watch older. I watch older movies very not detached, but just I know where it's from. It's fine. There's a comedy to it that again may not necessarily be kosher nowadays, but it back then was okay, that's the kind of humor that it had. And
I don't know. I mean, when's the last time you saw Weird Science?
It's been at least 20 plus years since I've seen it.
Okay, that one is just terrible. You have to watch that.
Isn't that Robert Downey Jr. is in that movie too, isn't he? Is it Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, he's the bad kid, the bully or something. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, all I remember, which why wouldn't I, is them in the shower with Kelly LeBrock just standing in the shower while she's just standing there. And the program, the weird green the green text program, and they're making her boobs bigger and whatever, and but the idea of that a guy can never truly be friends with a girl because the sex part gets in the way has evolved over the last 30 years. I think more and more people, and it is evident in society because fewer and fewer men, younger men, are having sex, which probably means they're befriended. I can't imagine they don't have any female friends or something, right? So they have female friends, and it's not something that they really think about. It's not something that they even want to attempt. Maybe even if it's it's too much work. I got porn over here or whatever. I don't know. But the idea of just being friends is now a little more commonplace. It's not something that people blink at, really, right? I mean, it'd be weird. Look, yes, maybe in the back of your mind, for me, I think, okay, I could be friends with many women. If they asked me to have sex with them, I wouldn't say no. But it's not like I'm basing that, but I'm not basing it off of the relationship though. I'm friends with them, and I don't think about that part. But I also, but because this question came up, I'm if I had female friends and they asked me, sure, why not? I don't know. It's not a thing that's but it's not front of mind. This is it seems for you, Anthony, this is front of mind. This is what you think about when you look at women. It's well, I kind of want to sleep with them, as opposed to, they're kind of fun and they're kind of cool to be around. I enjoy their conversation. I enjoy their company. And then if it evolves to something else, great. But it's not front of mind. It's just it's naturally hey, what are you doing? How's the weather? Do any bird watching lately? Boom. And you're good. And you're good. You're good. Sarah and I can talk, just not well, I don't know about anything. We really haven't talked about I don't know, quantum physics or something. So
we could.
It's just never.
If you so desire.
All right, let's talk about quantum entanglement. I guess. All right, fine. No, but I mean, it's just we have a good time having a conversation. It's not there's any ulterior motive to it, and when the conversation is over, we move on with life until we see each other again, and then we talk some more, and it seems to be very whatever, right? It does it, but it doesn't have that front of mind. But I know, Sarah, you have some things that you had or had some thoughts in regards to this particular topic of the, I guess, the lust and the sexual objectification of women in regards to friendships and whatnot. So what do you
Well, so he mentioned that he realizes that sexually objectifying women is not respectful.
Yes.
And you're right. That is a very good thing to realize. Nobody really wants to be objectified as people. We don't want to be seen as objects. But I know that's a tough one because, yeah, as the culture has changed, people who were used to that being more normal have found that it's not so much like it was in the past. And so it might take some adjustments. And a lot of people I know are men and women who are friends with the opposite gender. I know guys who have female friends, and this, I mean, I know of a couple cases of this where their female friends, they can, say that they're attractive and they're great, but when they've found out their female friend developed feelings for them, that made them uncomfortable because they just wanted a platonic relationship with them.
Yeah.
They liked other girls, but not these ones for some reason. Just the personalities didn't match up. So it is very possible for guys to be friends with girls and not want to be in any kind of non-platonic relationship with them, even though they are very attracted to other women. It's just a compatibility thing beyond just, it is a woman, so I want to be with her.
Yeah.
I do think that people who can't or feel they can't be friends with the opposite gender oftentimes are very focused on the opposite gender as a whole in either a very like pseudo-positive or very negative light, or like some combination of the same, like they are sexual objects, or like I think Francis has mentioned this before, like they're on a pedestal. Or they're horrible, they are denying me something, or they are bad to people like me, or, they're pigs or cheaters or whatever. And it's just like you really group them all together and they're not people. You don't see them as just another type of human other than the type you are, but really just that one difference, but you're still all humans, I think if you're having a really hard time seeing women as just other people, gosh, I don't know.
I mean, that's a tough one, yeah, because it's a lot of, because that's learned, that's a lot of that's a lot of upbringing, that's a lot of, again, history, that's a lot of just if you're in an environment where that's kind of the mentality, right, and you're around other men who successfully are able to kind of make women just like an object of lust and desire, right? And you're just around these type of men who are like, well, yeah, look, I just, she's hot, I want to do this and that and the other thing, and they're successfully able to make that happen, and you see it, and it doesn't happen to you. It's easy to kind of fall into that trap and be like, well, that's really the only way to look at things. So it's hard to kind of separate yourself from these ideas and these ideals, because it sounds like something that especially since you are kind of basing this question or these concerns you have on a 30-year-old movie, right? From that quote, like if you again look at current modern rom-coms, you're not going to hear that. You're not going to see that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's not kind of the focus, because that phrase, that sentence was the focus of that movie, right? Was that there was this sexual tension between Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan, and that there was this thing that, they had a desire for one another that they couldn't necessarily, make happen, if I recall correctly. I mean, that was like the reason for that whole, well, no, it wasn't. It was mostly, I guess it was Meg Ryan proving a point, that whole faking an orgasm scene in the deli. That was more to prove a point than anything else. But it happened because that was part of the conversation. There was something building between the two of them, and that's a really bad blueprint to kind of look at your own relationships with women, because that's a movie already designed with two people who are interested in each other, and you're a person who's based on the question, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, but you're someone who's looking for someone who has that same desire for you as you seem to have for the opposite sex. Now, the only problem is that I'm fairly certain, and Sarah can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but depending on the type of personality you have, that may be fairly obvious to a lot of other women. They might be able to, you may not be able to pass the sniff test, in which you befriend someone, or you're doing your best to respect them, you're doing your best to do these kind of what you consider admirable social interactions, but then they get, it doesn't pass their test, and they're like, well, I feel like there's I feel like you're doing this because you want something more, or there's something, maybe an ulterior motive or something, which I'm not saying you have, but you're already saying here, like you are lusting after these particular women. I don't know if it's all of them. If it's all of them, that's a problem, because that's an obsession, and that's also a sin. Yeah. Go on, Sarah, please.
Yeah, and I think you're right. At least, yeah, I think women can definitely sense when someone is giving them a kind of attention where you're like, whoa, you don't have a whole lot of experience, with casual, friendly banter. And it's clear you don't have a lot of, it just feels like you don't have a lot of female relationships, because this is coming off like in a way where most women would not be okay with this and would, push you away. I think having female friends would really help with that, because you just get to know them as people, and you get to kind of, well, for one thing, you get to be less nervous around women when you have female friends and you just see that they're just normal. And they can also give you advice and help you out with all that sort of stuff. If they're your friend, they want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
So I think I do think women can tell when a guy does not seek out or maintain any like non sexually objectifying connections with women.
Yeah. And I know that you're, again, the rejection that you're fearing, because that last part says here, you're in constant fear of potential rejection, either sexually or platonically. Rejection comes from often trying too hard. When you're trying for something casual, oftentimes you're not, because it's low level stuff, You're not constantly complimenting a person. It's not like, for instance, my interactions with Sarah are pretty similar to my interactions with my other podcasting host, Josh. I don't try to make him laugh as much as I make Sarah laugh, because she's easy. But I'm not saying to, like, well, Sarah, you're looking very lovely today, and oh, well, is that a new hair thingy you're wearing? Whatever. Like, I don't do anything like that, right? Because I more or less like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? Like I would to Josh. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? How's your weekend? What's new? Oh, that, and we talk without any type of specific language that I would give to one gender versus another. Again, you also adapt based on personality, because, Josh isn't someone who is like trying to banter all the time, right? He wants to, talk, and he wants to like share stories and whatever. Sarah, on the other hand, likes a little banter, likes a little bit of like joking around about stuff. But it's not like, I think some people look at that type of interaction. Some people may see that as like, wow, look at these two flirting with each other. But it's not. It's two people talking to each other, and two people who know who are friends, who know what buttons to press to just like joke around and have just be cordial. I don't know what the word is, but where there's this rapport. This rapport exists, and so I know I can say certain things. She can say certain things. We'll have a good time. We'll laugh. We'll talk about I don't know, the stock. No, I'm not gonna go there.
Hilarious,
yes. But see, look at that, right? Like, very natural, very normal. It wasn't anything weird. It wasn't anything, out of the ordinary. And I'm not saying that you do weird and out of the ordinary things, but you have to think about how you talk to women and how you approach them and how you interact with them. If you interact with them in a very low key, kind of just like the rejection issue. And again, Sarah, please tell me if I'm wrong about this, but if it's very low key, casual, no flirtation, just hi, how you doing? What's going on? The potential for rejection at a platonic level is pretty low, right?
Well, I think when you're making platonic friends, there's hopefully it would happen organically. You'd meet them in like a similar hobby or something. But yeah, if you are as concerned with losing a potential female friend as you are losing a potential male friend, like a guy you're randomly talking to on the internet, if he doesn't like you, like, does that like make you feel panicked, or does that make you feel like you've been rejected? Probably not. I mean, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
So hopefully you can just have that same sort of feeling with a female friend and just be like, well, that person didn't like me. You know what? Nobody is liked by everybody. Nobody's liked by even most people, probably.
Yeah. No.
You know, in the world. You can be liked by most of your friends, but not by, like, everybody.
I mean, Sarah only talks to me because I pay her, so, you know.
It's the key to my friendship.
Benjamins.
The Benjamins.
All right. No, sorry. Continue.
But yeah, like the fear of rejection is a big one. Like getting over that is really helpful. I have a friend. He has, you know, he dates some women who are his, you know, one at a time. He's a monogamous guy, but he has girlfriends like that. But he also has lots of, like, I don't know what you'd call them, friends who are girls. Lots of them. Mm-hmm. Like, girls just love being his friends. Except for his girlfriends. They love being his girlfriends. But, like, other girls love being his friends. Yeah. And he just doesn't have time for all of them. And it makes them all want to hang out with him even more. He just doesn't have the time. How
good looking is this dude? How hot is this man? Seriously.
He's actually, he's got more of like a kind face. He's not like an underwear model kind of guy. He's more like a kind of nerdy looking guy.
Does he look like, because I can see this for like I'm trying to think of someone who's fairly innocuous. I don't know, because they're all, that's the problem with Hollywood. They're all good looking for the most part. He's like a maybe not Michael Cera. He's goofy looking, but he's kind of, maybe he's a goofy kind of unintimidating looking person, like that.
I guess you could say he's got sort of that vibe. He doesn't look like Michael Cera.
No, but he has that vibe.
But he's kind of the vibe of like cute, but not like intimidating.
Yeah.
You know?
That's my problem.
And cute but intimidating.
Yeah.
Cute but scary. Yeah, you just got that wrong combination there.
Fear me, people.
Cute but terrifying. Adorably terrifying.
Like a rabid cat.
Like a rabid kitten.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I'll take it.
That should be your handle online.
The rabid kitten. All right, go on. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I apologize.
No worries. I was just saying, so yeah, he's a cute guy. He's just, but he's not like, you know, intimidatingly, you know, gorgeous where women are just like, oh my God, I can't look at him, or, you know, I want all of his attention. But he does have lots of lady friends, and, you know, he maintains those friendships even when he's in a relationship with like a, you know, like a romantic woman. But they love hanging out with him because he doesn't have time for everyone all the time. So everyone's like wanting to hang out with him more than he can. And this is like that like abundance thing where if you like see yourself as like, you know, I don't need any of these friends. I will find friends. So I don't need to be like, you know, really upset if I get rejected. Then if they do become your friend and you're like, I don't need to spend all of my time with them, they will value their time with you. You know, it's just kind of like this abundance thing. Right. Just don't be afraid of it, or they'll feel it and the energy will kind of like push them away.
Yeah. It'll smell like desperation.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is generally the case.
Lastly, my only advice is that you do have male friends. You know, you have them online. You talk to them a certain way. Use that same exact energy. Use it on women. Talk to them the same way. You know, don't just have a conversation. Don't have any expectation. I think that's the other thing is there's a lot of expectation in I think your interactions. At least that's what I'm getting from the question. It's like there's this expectation, right? You have this lust or this whatever. You have this desire. And then, you know, that's how you interact with women. Constant desire, constant this, like, thing. Like, oh, man, I wish I could be this, or something, right? Like, you desire this thing from them. You have to go in without any of that expectation, without any of that desire, any of that want. You just have to go in it. You don't have to, you have to go in it casual. You don't go in it with any type of expectation something's going to happen or you're going to get something out of it. Because the moment you do that is the moment you're going to automatically be disappointed anyway, because everyone acts differently for everybody. So you just have to go in knowing that win or lose, whatever happens, this is an interaction I can grow from, I can get, I can learn from, and potentially make friends from. And just drop all the other pretenses. I know it's hard because it seems like this is something you're feeling in your bones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some practice. Or otherwise, this is it. This is life infinitum, because life doesn't. The world, they're not going to change for you. None of these women are going to change for you, right? But you have to change who you are if you want to be able to bring people into your circle, into your sphere, right? You have to be that kind of person whom will be like Sarah's one friend, where it's just like I need to spend time with like, oh, please spend time with me, and it can happen, but it comes without having you can't be carrying that baggage with you. It's easy to see. Mm-hmm. It's on your back. We could see it. It's very visible. So just drop it and hope if you can and learn how. And again, just talk to them like you would talk to any other male person. Talk to women as if you're talking to any other guy, and I guarantee you'll see a difference. It may not be huge at first, but you'll start seeing differences. You're going to start seeing how people treat you differently. If your fear is the rejection, you're going to see it, but it has to come from you wanting to, not being overly excited, I guess, and not going overboard. But anyway, that's a lot. That was a big one. That was a huge one, I think. That conversation. That's one that, and I don't know, Sarah, did I say anything that you disapproved of?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember everything we just said.
Oh man. Oh, I am both hurt and happy at the same time.
I think you got it. Yeah, don't lower the expectations and don't be afraid of rejection and be,
it's tough.
Be friendly. Yeah.
Rejection's tough.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. We have time for one more thing here. Of course, every episode we are kindly blessed by Right Cow Left Coast, giving us a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of conversation. He likes to tell us that Cumley was used in a David Duchovny song, apparently. But he does have a question. He does have something about relationships that we do want to cover. So, Sarah, what is that bit of email or whatever?
All right.
I was trying to think of the word, and I'm like, he didn't email it, but yeah. What do you got?
He says, imagine a relationship where for the entire relationship, one constantly wears a mask at all times, and that during the entirety of their relationship, they never see each other's faces, ever. Wonder how that will impact a relationship. No direct lip kissing, and if that is taboo, wouldn't that also impact any other exchange of romantic bodily fluids?
Good. Nice.
Oh, it reminds me of an extension of the no-touch rules in Demolition Man.
Yeah, well, they did it. Even though we've only seen half the movie, as far as I understand, they do it virtually in that movie.
All I remember is the sex helmets. Yeah, that's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, I didn't get that far. I got to the 3 seashells was the last scene before I had to do something else, and then they took it off of the streaming service, and I couldn't finish the movie. It was really sad.
No. Yeah.
The next day they got rid of it. I was like, how do you do that? That's amazing.
Worst timing.
Yeah, it was awful. What's funny is, like, I know you mean this literally versus figuratively, but I do think that figuratively people are constantly wearing masks in a relationship. Some people, not all. I think a lot of I think what celebrity television has taught us and reality TV has taught us is that you have to constantly be wearing a mask in a relationship. I seriously think there's a generation of people, good-looking people specifically, who are always wearing this mask. Like, they're always happy. I mean,
they're always on.
Yeah, look at Instagram. Look at TikTok, right? Unless they're the type who constantly seek attention, and it's not usually these type of people, but you don't normally see them sad or crying or upset. you don't see pictures or videos of them doing that. It's usually them dancing or, posing or doing weird like hand thing. I don't know what the hell. Kids. Oh, those kids. Oh, I can't. They're doing shit. Get off my lawn. That's all I can think of right now. It's just, oh man. But yeah, right. Sarah, please tell me you feel the same way.
Oh, I try to just enjoy the kids' shenanigans and say they're having fun, good for them. But yeah, sometimes I am like, oh my God, this is how our parents' generation felt when we started doing weird crap and like we're saying stuff. They're like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
The new word, this is a new word I learned. Deadass. Have you heard of deadass before?
Is that like serious?
Yes, I didn't know that until recently.
I guessed it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, they're deadass about this thing. And I'm like, what? It took me a while. It took me a second to finally realize. But you got it off the bat. You are hip with the young kids there, Sarah.
I am hip. Well, I'm on the Reddits and the. Well, I don't know how many young people are on Quora, but
no, I don't.
And on Instagram, so I don't know. I guess I see some things. I don't think I've seen Deadass yet, but I might have heard it in like a skit or something.
Yeah, I saw it. So written down in so many places. Even on Reddit, I saw it. I'm like, deadass.
Oh, they do this thing too with like just 3 letters.
Oh,
of course is OFC.
Yeah.
And I think as you have to bleep this out, but as is ASF.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now instead of AF, it was AF before, but now it's ASF.
Yeah. They gotten crazy with their weird something is SMTH.
Oh, SMTH. Shouldn't it be SMH?
Maybe it's SMH. I don't know.
That's shaking my head.
Shaking my head is SMH. Yeah. I think it's SMTH.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Short. It's short for something.
Something. Yeah. See, something. Yeah. So.
What?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm so confused. Oh, it's short for the word something. Oh my God. I can't believe how long that took me.
Oh my
see, dear. I'm the one on the lawn shaking my cane.
I was like, yeah, it's something.
I'm like, yeah, but short for what?
That was amazing. We didn't write that. That doesn't happen naturally. Laurel and Hardy, eat your heart out. Oh, no, it wasn't Laurel and Hardy. It was the other guys. Abbott and Costello, eat your heart out. We got it. Wow, that was really funny. Ooh, yeah. Anyway, we all have a good time here. We all have a good time. Yeah, no, I think... Weather, SMTH, birdwatching. All right. It can't be any. It can't be any of the topics we actually talked about. It has to be all the weird, obscure stuff that we brought up. This is the topic.
Oh boy,
yeah, boy, we're having a good time. No, really. No, yeah. I mean, that's you define what you just wrote is a long distance relationship. Right, Cal? That's what a long-distance relationship is, right? You're not necessarily wearing a mask, but you can't kiss. You can't share other bodily fluids. But there's a no touch. It's not a rule. It's just, it's part of the makeup of a long-distance relationship is you can't touch each other, and you can't have intimacy, and you can't have certain things because obviously there's that distance. So you have actually encompassed in your weird way with the mask thing just how it is for what I think a lot of people experience still myself included, just like, hey, there are people out there who are in these relationships where they met. I met someone over the weekend who's still playing World of Warcraft, so I was like really impressed. People meet in like those types of games, or they meet on chat rooms, or they meet in Quora, or they meet in Reddit, or they meet in. I'm pretty sure many people have met on Reddit actually, and probably have gotten married as a result over time. But you will meet someone from another part of the world because you guys connect, and then you experience what you just said, and it's tough. It's easy to imagine because it's happening. It's happening right now, and that does impact everything, and it's probably the biggest blessing and a curse to happen because of the internet, because we are now able, right? Originally, we had to look in our backyards. We had to look in our schools, our workplaces. The workplace thing wasn't an issue before the internet because where else are you going to find people, right? It's not like you had time back in the 80s and 90s to socialize all that much, right? So you kind of got your love and relationship from where you could. Your cubicle, your church, your whatever, right? So, yeah, I think that, very much so.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything to add to that, Sarah?
I think it's like the metaverse.
It is the metaverse.
The metaverse.
You're right. This is the future. This is the future.
Yeah. You will not know what the person you're dating looks like.
Oh, God.
Because they will be a virtual mask.
You're right. They're going to be, oh, wow.
An avatar.
Thank you. Yes, that's, yeah. They'll be tall, green people, blue people, green. I don't know my colors.
Could be green.
Yeah, it could be green too. Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, yeah. What about the, have you seen the show Upload?
I haven't. You talked about it before, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, they have these suits that are like full of like, I don't know, like little tentacles inside or something, so you can like have physical relationships with like a digital person who's dead and has been uploaded, and it like gives you the physical sensation in the suit of them like touching you and stuff. It's called like a hug suit or a feel suit or something. I'm thinking that's going to become a real thing.
Well, it's weird that you mentioned that because Amazon just recently talked about how your Alexa device will listen to a dead person's voice and become and get their voice and be able to talk like them. Yeah.
That's just like that episode of Black Mirror.
Which one? Because there's a lot of them like that.
Well, no, where the guy died and there was like a technology that took his voice from social media and talked like him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And it's happening. Alexa can do it now.
Oh my gosh.
Back from the,
Well, the moral of that episode kind of was like she was unable to ever move on.
That was what
grieve properly.
It was the robot body, right? The
next step was, would you like to buy the robot body? And then she had basically a perfect copy of him. She couldn't ever bring herself to get rid of him, and she could never move on.
Kept him in the attic.
Yeah, because it wasn't him, but it was really sad because she could never fully like have closure or get better from her grief.
Yeah, that's well, again, Black Mirror. One step ahead.
But yeah, is that what's going to happen now? We're going to have like a whole new like slew of psychological issues with people who are like stuck in grief forever because they're talking to a fake version of their dead loved one.
I mean, yes. The thing, people don't understand the power of moving on. There was an article I was going to use for us to talk about, which was what was it? Something about, I think it had to deal with an ex, but like. A lot of people have a hard time getting. Oh no! It was tips on dating and not to date someone. One of the tips was not to date someone who was like your ex, or stop trying to look for your ex in another person, right? Which people do, right? We want to, especially if you had a really good relationship with your ex, but are incompatible for whatever reason. But yeah, it's strange how much we refuse to kind of move on with life, and it's dangerous because that's part of life is moving on. Oh dear. Oh man. Mute buttons are amazing.
Your face was perfect.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah had to see me sneeze. I feel bad for her.
No, I liked the very cool face after you sneezed.
Yeah.
You really brought it back, yes.
Oh, man. Anyway. There you go. I think that's enough because we went over as usual.
Oh.
Let me just tell you.
What are we going to do?
Well, I think we're just going to have to. I don't like having, I like us. I don't like naturally stopping a good conversation, right? That feels weird to just stop in the middle of a conversation. Be like, okay, we can't. We got to move on, but we got no rules. But just for you listening.
Just have an air horn.
Okay. All right, we gotta move on. Next. Just to give Sarah an idea, and just to give you listeners an idea, okay? Very first episode was 44 minutes, then 50, then 54, then 1 hour and 6, then 1 hour and 10, then 1 hour and 20, then 121, then 123, which was our last episode.
Oh my God.
When I wasn't kidding when I said we're incrementally making the show longer.
Okay. We're gonna figure something out. We're gonna figure something out.
I think it's fine. I think it's hilarious that no matter how, because that wasn't planned. We didn't plan to go longer and longer each time. We just had more and more to say every single time. And so it's so funny to me that no matter what we talk about, we're always like a minute or two over like the last episode.
But we always have this goal to not go longer than the time before, and we're failing.
Well, the last one's going to be short. The last one's going to be under an hour. The previous episode that I haven't edited and put up yet, as of this recording, is going to be, I think, it's going to be under an hour. But this one's like at least an hour and 15, maybe an hour.
Yeah, I kind of was watching the clock. It's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, but we had a lot to say for some, what I like about it, and we'll wrap up. But what I like about that is, this shows how passionate we are about like these types of topics. Like we actually are fascinated and interested in these types of things, I think. Like from the way you talk and the way I talk about it, I think we're both very invested in wanting to help and wanting to kind of find solutions for these kinds of problems because they do exist. And I don't think our responses are dumb or weird or ignorant. I think we actually come from a lot of good knowledge and a lot of good understanding. And you're still reading things, and you're still, doing your book learning, and so you're developing your own set of ideas and understanding of things based off of stuff that's being written right now. Or are you reading anything new as we wrap up?
Not like any like brand new emerging material as far as books go, but I just like stuff that interests me. It's not necessarily like brand new, but it's new to me. So.
But it's expanding your knowledge and it's expanding your ideas, and I think that's important. And hopefully we helped you out today. But thanks for hanging out for as long as you have. Ooh. And we do. And look, maybe you think, man, I don't have enough. I need more. An hour and whatever minutes isn't enough. We got you covered. Actually, we got you covered for $1, just $1. Go to my Patreon, patreon.com/aka the other guy. Go to the Patreon. We have bonus episodes where we talk about more stuff, just like this.
Woo!
Right? And it's so you can get more. Not much more, but more, like half an hour. You're not going to get another hour and a half, but you're going to get like another half hour of stuff. So go to the Patreon, just $1. That's all you need. I get access to, I think I have 4 episodes up now, bonus material. The 5th one on the way. So go ahead and check it out. Let us know what you think. What a show. That was fun. Wasn't that? Again, I think we're in a rhythm now, and we're laughing more. We're having more fun doing this stuff. I'm noticing. Sarah's got the jokes, she's got the jokes. She's on it. Oh, I love it. So it's IsThisLovePod@gmail.com. If you want to send in a question just like Anthony did, send it through the email right there. You can also go to the website. I'm going to give the IsThisLove.podbean.com website. That one actually has all the little links to all the different types of ways you can connect. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, stuff like that, and also leave a review. There's 3 5-star likes on our iTunes. Give us more. And leave us a review. Write something, because we'd love to just share what your thoughts are on this show to the world. But if you want to leave a little message on there, we really do appreciate it. And lastly, is this Love Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we got it. It's all for your consumption. And the best part is, depending on how you consume, if you go to like the Instagram and whatnot, you get to see Sarah's amazing heart art, as I like to call it, the heart.
Oh,
it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Gives shows a lot of personality of what's going on in the episode. You get like a summary in image form right there. So go ahead and take a look at that. Great reason to join the Instagram. And also, you get to see, pictures of nature as well every once in a while. So go check that out as well.
That's right, nature, the outside world.
Yeah, you can touch grass with the rest of us. That's another that's another thing that kids are saying. Touch grass.
Oh,
in other words, get off the internet and experience the outside world. But the phrase is touch grass. It's like, okay. I'd rather not. That's but okay. So there you go.
You touch grass.
Touch grass. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Please do all that stuff, and you too should touch ass. No, grass. Just grass. Bye, everyone.